We've all made it through tough times before, so I know we can do this. It's now our time to make this change happen.
Good evening, class of 2020 parents, special guests, and friends. Welcome to the virtual commencement proceedings of Chester W. Nimitz High School class of 2020. We all acknowledge that these are unprecedented times, and we remain committed to making this a very special occasion and one to remember by our graduates. I have been honored to be your principal, and I'm very proud of your resilience and commitment to your future by taking your education seriously and earning your high school diploma. At this time, we will pause for the pledge to our flags and the playing of the national anthem.
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
There are a number of individuals who have worked very hard to make this day a special one for our graduates. I will acknowledge them at this time. Dr. LaTanya M. Goffney, Superintendent of Schools, Mr. Paul Shanklin, School Board President, Ms. Rose Avalos, Vice President, Ms. Connie Esparza, Secretary, Dr. Kimberly Booker, Assistant Secretary, Dr. Viola Garcia, Board Member, Mr. Randy Bates Jr., Board Member, Mr. Steve Mead, Board Member, the entire Executive Leadership Team, Senior Class Sponsors, Isley Adams, 9th grade principal, Chester W. Nimitz High School, and 9th grade assistant principals, counselors, and all campus staff members. Thank you for the hard work in helping us get here today. Graduates, we recognize that you will not be here without the help and support of your parents, and we recognize the parents of all graduating seniors and thank each of you for the support you have given to your child and to our school. Today, we are honored to have some of our graduating seniors who have enlisted in one of the military branches or who have been accepted into one of the military academies. It is my honor to recognize each of you and thank you for your commitment to our country. We have many students who have worked very hard to earn one or more scholarships. Students, the work you have done to support your education has paid off. We are proud to report that this class has earned over $3.1 million in scholarships. It is always an honor and pleasure to recognize your moments of celebration. Congratulations again. Now it is my pleasure to introduce the class of 2020 Salutatorian, followed by the Valedictorian, greetings from special guests, and I will return with my address to the class of 2020.
I want to start off by thanking everyone who has helped me get here. First off, I'd like to thank my parents for pushing me so hard to get here and supporting me every day, dropping me off at school every morning with lunch, making sure I got home every day, and always making me feel like I was meant to be here. Next, I want to thank my sister for teaching me and being an example for me to learn from. Thank you to my whole family for supporting me. Thank you to every teacher, counselor, and faculty member that has helped and taught me these past 12 years. Finally, thank you to all of my friends who have made this journey fun. Thank you to everyone that I've ever made laugh. We've all been through a lot these past 4 years, especially in 2020. We came into freshman year riding off the high of summer 2016. For a lot of us, that summer represents a simpler time. It's almost as if that summer was a send-off to our childhoods. We had to grow up. I can't point out exactly the day, but it was probably when they deleted Vine from the internet. Now we were in high school, and for the most part, we had fun. No one was sure where we were going yet, but it didn't really matter. We weren't really worrying about all that. What I remember from freshman year was meeting all of the new people that I'd end up growing with. Oh, and the clowns that came to scare all of us for that 1 month. Next came sophomore year. We went in thinking it was going to be more of the same, and it was, for about a week. Then all of us learned a name we probably will never forget, Harvey. Hurricane Harvey came through and turned the whole school year upside down. I was fortunate enough to not be affected too much, but I know people who lost their homes to these floods, and when Houston needed good news the most, 2 months later, the Astros delivered. That championship brought us back in a way that nothing else could. Sophomore year was also when I first felt like I was actually in high school. Moving to the big campus was a new experience for all of us. Junior year was probably the toughest year for me. I started taking more classes at the college, and the ones that I took at Nimitz weren't any easier. Finally, senior year came, and it's just been one thing after the other. I spent the whole year trying to figure out what I'm going to do with my life. On top of that, I took more classes this year than I did in any of the other 3 years. And the world's been going crazy. Just this school year, the building got struck by lightning while we were worried about it flooding again during Hurricane Imelda. All of Australia and the Amazon caught on fire. World War III almost started, and one of my childhood heroes, Kobe Bryant, was killed in an unfortunate accident. Then coronavirus stopped absolutely everything, and we were all stuck at home. But just as things were slowly starting to move back to the way they were before, George Floyd was murdered in Minnesota. That's actually what I wanted to talk about while I'm up here. I realized that I've been given a platform, and I want to use it to speak about something bigger than me. Black Lives Matter. It's that simple. That doesn't mean that Black Lives matter more than any other lives. And I know that I'm not exactly the most fitting spokesperson for this message because I don't fit the description. But this isn't just an issue for the Black community to fix on their own. We as human beings should all recognize and reflect on the personal prejudices and biases that we in our society have. I say this as someone who had to reevaluate my own stance and realize that indifference is just as bad as injustice. Refusal to speak out is a refusal to support. I will never fully know what it means to be an African American in this country, but that doesn't mean I can't support the cause. It's necessary for all people to come together because all lives can't matter until Black lives do. I was fortunate enough to grow up in Houston. I was brought up in the most diverse city in America, and especially in Aldine, we were all the same. I previously thought that this way of thinking was enough. I'm not actively contributing to the problem, so I'm okay. However, this mentality does nothing to help solve the issues. I was being ignorant to the problem because it didn't pertain to me. This is simply not enough. There's a massive difference between ignorance and activism. I ask you all to find it within yourselves to become activists. We can no longer continue to ignore our problems. We've all made it through tough times before, so I know we can do this. It's now our time to make this change happen.
To our esteemed guests, administrative staff, teachers, school board members, Superintendent Dr. Latonia Goffney, parents, friends, parents of our friends of our parents, and to our angels watching over us, good afternoon, and thank you so much for being here. I am honored to stand up here to celebrate the most dedicated, handsome, and beautiful graduates, otherwise known as Nimitz High School's class of 2020. I can't help but reminisce upon the sayings attached to our class from the moment we knew to aspire towards this graduation. As the class of 2020, we are the class with 2020 vision who can see their future clearly, since none of us foresaw our current events and the future is even more obscure than usual. I find there's at least some irony in that statement now. Regardless of our uncertain times, I'd like to introduce the class to a quote by Reinhold Niebuhr. While I was bored, I rediscovered this quote on a magnet stuck to the side of the refrigerator at my home. The magnet reads, "Grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference." Dear class, our teachers, coaches, mentors, counselors, and parents did the best they could to give us their wisdom, but As a tenacious individual myself, otherwise known as hard-headed and stubborn, I don't always see the wisdom in even the most profound of words. However, I will assure you now that the learning does not stop here. The wisdom to know the difference can only be developed through experience. And class of 2020, trust me, it seems we have a whole lot more experiencing to do ahead of us. A good friend of mine introduced me to this upcoming quote from a Netflix original they watched during quarantine. As the actor Rudharosk Jaiswal charismatically stated, "You don't drown by falling into the river, but by staying submerged in it." Even when it feels like we've hit rock bottom and our head is underwater, it is always our strength and resilience that will keep us from drowning. I challenge us to take more blind leaps of faith into the unknown, feeling confident that we have the determination within us to get up from any fall and keep going. The journey to what we can achieve starts with ourselves. Class of 2020, don't be afraid to leave those who submerge you. Surround yourself with people who will keep you from falling in, and be the person who will rescue those who have forgotten they're worth fighting for. As my speech comes to an end, I'd like to thank those who have kept me afloat or taught me to swim harder. Thank you, God, and our angels for providing us with the protection and strength to be here today. To Coach Brazy, who always believed in me and never let me quit on the last mile. To Mr. Craw, who taught many of us that staring at molecular and physics equations will never make sense unless we ask questions. And even then, we'd probably still need to ask more questions. To Mr. McCormick, who taught me the value of discussing opposing opinions because a classroom filled with awkward silence will get us nowhere. To Mr. Caping and Miss Harrison, thank you so much for being there for the Nimitz class of 2020. I value your effort to see each and every one of us succeed. And finally, thank you to all the families and parents here today to support your graduates. I owe everything I have to my parents and family. I would not be here without them. And thank you, Mother, for sacrificing everything from the moment I was born to see me thrive. I hope to one day repay you for everything. To everyone here, I thank you once again for coming to celebrate Nimitz High School's finally graduating class of 2020. Let us not hold hands, but instead let us hold our heads high as we walk across the stage and together hold our spirits even higher. After today, we close only a single chapter of our life and the rest is still up for us to write. I wish you all the best, make good choices, and I love you all. Congratulations, class of 2020. We made it. This has been your Salutatorian. Thank you.
Hey everybody, ADRIAN GARCIA, County Commissioner of Precinct 2, of which the phenomenal community of Aldine is a part of. I am so proud and honored to be able to congratulate the class of 2020 of all of the Aldine high schools that are graduating in this season. And I'll tell you, I hate having to do this by video, but you know what? We're all in it together. And it is not the reflection of this process, the way we're doing it these days. It's a reflection of all of your successes in your past years. But also remember that it's not the graduation stage that's most important. It's the fact that you are now about to step onto a world stage. You have been empowered by your teachers with knowledge and information. Embrace it, allow it to spread your wings so that you can soar to great heights, but then come back to your community and continue to be a great role model to other young people in the Aldine area. We need you. We need your example. We need your stories. We need others to know that they can aspire to be you. And so with that, I'll just say that until we can shake hands and hug each other and high five, I just want to say to you that I am so proud of your success. I wish you all the best. But again, never forget where you come from. Congratulations and God bless.
The diplomas our graduates receive represent years of hard work, commitment, dedication, and achievement, and will mark a turning point in the lives of these young adults. And my goodness, what a turning point in history it has been for the class of 2020. This class, born in the shadows of 9/11, during a time where our faith had to be bigger than our fears and where heartbreak and grief crippled our nation. You came into this world and managed to bring hope and joy into the lives of each of your families during a time when every family needed something to believe in, their blessing, their future. And as they watched you take your first steps, they dreamed of this, your senior year. They prepared for this day. But what no one could have ever imagined is that the same children born in the shadows of 9/11 would leave school for spring break of their senior year and never return. Things certainly took a turn that we could have never predicted or expected. We found ourselves facing a global pandemic that would rob us of the spring semester of your senior year, and it was heartbreaking. Our 4-quarter strong Cougars were preparing for some milestones and competitions that spoke to the very fiber of who we are at Nimitz High School. Our NJROTC advanced to the national NJROTC competition in Pensacola, Florida, after finishing second place at the state competition at Texas A&M University. Simply put, we have the second best NJROTC unit in the state of Texas. A cadet in our NJROTC unit, Graciela Encarnacion, is also our National Hispanic Merit Scholar. After 17 years, our Nimitz Theater students advanced to the District 16 6A one-act play contest, as well as winning Outstanding Technical Crew for District 16 6A. Alexa Soto, an outstanding senior artist, won the prestigious Gold Seal Award, which means she is in the top 1% of artists in the state of Texas. Senior Kiara Jackson won a Silver Key and 2 honorable mention awards in the Scholastic Arts Writing Competition, an honor that had not been bestowed on a Nimitz High School student in the past 6 years. Senior Evia Brady was a Silver Key winner in the Scholastic Art Contest, and Senior Faith Bradford won the prestigious Gold Key in the Scholastic Art Contest. Senior Angel Allen made history and was seen and recognized nationally for being the first African-American young woman in 61 years to earn the highest title an FFA student can earn with her grand champion steer, Butterscotch. And when we talk about accomplishments, let's recognize our 27 members of the class of 2020 who earned their associate's degree from Lone Star College. Cougarland also has members of the class of 2020 who have committed to serve in one of the branches of the U.S. military. We thank you for your commitment, service, and dedication to protect our freedoms. Class of 2020, we will never forget you. However, not for everything you had to give up, but for your grace under fire, your strength through adversity, and your willingness to get through this senior year at all costs. I need you to realize that in the midst of all of this, you are officially the person you've worked all these years to become. You are the graduate your parents, teachers, counselors, administrators, and coaches always hoped you would be. COVID-19 may have taken away some of your dreams, but it made you, the dreamer, unbreakable, unshakable, and unstoppable. Each of you are blessings wrapped in different packages, and I can't wait to see how each of you uses your gifts to impact the world. Because Nimitz Cougars are 4 quarters strong, we work through any challenges that may come along. You will represent your school with dignity and pride because Cougar fight never dies. Please know that your Nimitz High School family will always be here to continue to help you achieve greatness. Remember, COVID-19 could never stop this dream. And finally, remember, once a Cougar, always a Cougar. Class of 2020, congratulations. We are now ready for the presentation of the 2020 graduating class of Chester W. Nimitz Senior High School, Class of 2020. Dr. Goffney, I am honored to share with you that these seniors, members of the class of 2020, have met the criteria to graduate. They have satisfied all requirements of Aldine Independent School District and the state of Texas, and are hereby entitled to be graduates of Chester W. Nimitz Senior High School, Class of 2020, with all the rights and privileges appertaining thereto.
To members of the graduating class of 2020, it is with great pride that I address you today as you complete your journey with Aldine ISD. Your families and your teachers, principals, coaches, and administrators have molded and guided you over the years, and I know they've inspired and prepared you to be the best version of yourselves. I've said it before, and I mean it even more today. The class of 2020 is going to be remembered forever. Your perseverance, your resilience, your hope, your passion, your tenacity, they cannot be forgotten. You've seen so much change this last year. A civil rights movement and a pandemic exposed issues and changed how we do business, interact with one another, and how we learn. It's safe to say the world we live in now is different. I encourage you not to stress about it. Don't give up. Take the attributes with you into the next chapter of your life, whatever that may be. It was difficult to make the call to not host an in-person ceremony, but safety had to be the number one priority. This will never make up for the face-to-face ceremony, but I do hope that you understand that your experience this year and the past 12 years before you are worth celebrating. You are worth celebrating. Now, to make it official, it gives me great pride to say these words again. I've heard from each of the high school principals, and they have shared a complete list of seniors, members of the class of 2020 that have met the criteria to graduate. These students have satisfied all requirements of the Aldine Independent School District in the state of Texas. I have shared with the Board of Trustees that I certify that the students who have met the requirements of graduation set forth by the Texas Education Agency and the Aldine Independent School District Board of Trustees are eligible to receive their diplomas and are hereby entitled to be graduates with all the rights and privileges appertaining thereto. Congratulations to the Aldine class of 2020.
The format for awarding diplomas to our graduates enables us to focus more individual attention on each member of the class of 2020 by allowing you to share in the recognition of the honors bestowed upon each of them. The first 84 students represent the top 15% of their class. Representing the top 5% are 27 students and are graduating magna cum laude with great honors and earned a double gold card. The next 57 students represent the next 10% and earned a single gold card, signifying their cum laude status. Students who are members of the National Honor Society earned a white sash and a blue and gold cord. All other cords indicate either membership in an organization, outstanding participation in a special program, or academic excellence. Students designated as a Foundation with Endorsements Plan graduate have completed specific curriculum requirements established by the state of Texas. We have proudly presented the Chester W. Nimitz Senior High School graduating class of 2020. Congratulations.